produce an Information Technology Agency report in response to the motion by Council members present Blumenfield and Luzon relative to the proposed digital inclusion program to maximize usage of city-owned computers the city no longer intends to use.
Good afternoon, council members. Mark Wolf, Executive Officer with ITA. Today, we're very pleased to present to you a report that ITA, in collaboration with General Services, has prepared in response to the digital inclusion motion introduced by Council President Wesson, Councilmember Blumenfield, and Councilman Huizar in conjunction with the leadership from Mayor Garcetti. The development of this digital inclusion pilot program and report back has been a collaborative effort with participation from the sponsoring elected offices as well as ITA General Services, City Attorney, and Bureau of Sanitation. This report recommends a digital inclusion pilot which will divert 8,000 plus computers that the city no longer intends to use to external partners which can refurbish the computers for dissemination to nonprofits servicing disadvantaged communities and low-income families and workforce centers while also providing job training and career opportunities. To date, we've made the following progress. We've outreached and surveyed department salvage computers, and as I mentioned, we have 8,000 plus computers that have been identified. We've also set up the city warehouse in the downtown location for storing the computers and preparing them for distribution to the external partners. We've also developed logistics and processes for transporting, storing, wiping the hard drives, refurbishing, and distributing the refurbished PCs. We've also engaged the City Attorney's Office to provide support for the necessary agreements and administrative actions that will be required to implement this pilot program. General Services has begun coordinating the pickup and transporting of computers and will be delivering them shortly to the warehouse. Following that, ITA, in conjunction with the external partners, will begin inventorying the computers and wiping the hard drives. Then they'll be made available for refurbishing and distribution along with diverting the e-waste to city-certified recyclers. We're happy to take any questions that you have and look forward to your approval of the pilot program recommendations before you.
Of the 8,000, how many end up actually getting refurbished? How many have a lot to help refurbish the other ones? And how many sent off to that
That's a very good question, Councilmember. At this point, we are estimating that 50% of the machines should be refurbishable. So as you indicated, we'll be able to use spare parts from some of the machines that we're unable to refurbish to then make a full computer so that we'll have a refurbished item. One of the first steps in this process that we're going to do is actually doing the physical inventory as the equipment comes in, and as I said, also then wiping the hard drives, ensuring that the data that was previously stored on the hard drive is destroyed. So it won't be until we really get to the point of inventory that we'll get a handle on the exact number of devices.
Yeah, I mean, again, Greg Good with the Mayor's Office. I think what's really exciting about this, I mean, jumping into it, like, hey, we have a bunch of computers sitting on one need anymore, move them around, and this should be a piece of cake. It's actually been an exceedingly complex process, both from a logistics standpoint and from a sort of partnership level. And really, there's three problems that this gets to, and Councilmember Chairman, you addressed one of them. One is ensuring the responsible management of what can often be treated as e-waste. To our credit as a city, the Bureau of Sanitation and the city does a very good job. These computers would not have ended up in landfills. They would, however, have gone to a facility out of the city, taken apart for component parts and sold them, and handled responsibly. But the economic stimulus of actually doing that work here goes with it. The refurbishable goes with it, right? Um, and the capacity to sort of springboard or grow what right now is a very immature e-waste management sector here in the city goes with it as well. And so, you know, we do very responsibly in this way handle what heretofore would often be called the e-waste. We also provide pathways and really create a model, not just for our city computers, but for beginning a process of conveying and capturing and conveying e-waste in the private sector as well as the public sector in the region, and developing that sector here. And as important as anything, we address the digital divide, which is much bigger and bigger. Sure.
So, what is this private, public, or anything? Once this project, this process is effective over there?
They could absolutely participate. Mark hit on it, and I think this is another exciting piece here. I mean, you got a whole bunch of people working together, public and private. We've got LA Shares, which has been working with City for a long, long time. But the LA Clean Up Today, we've got a social enterprise organization like Digital Recycling. We've got nonprofit like LAOIC. People that are working across the board. LA Shares, as I think you folks know, does a great job and has done a great job with us for a long time distributing surplus goods that the private sector and often, in some cases, the city no longer uses to a whole host of folks. Some of those could be schools. Most likely, what we're envisioning is more like after-school programs. Right now, LAU, as we all know, is in its own process, shall we say, on technology, and so I'm not sure how strategically we could sort of enter that fray. We suspect that maybe the more strategic way would be with after-school programs, with targeted after-school programs, but also workforce centers, homeless shelters. What we want to do is via LA Shares pretty expansive and well-seasoned distribution network and system is to really target those ultimate recipients where you're going to get the most bang for the buck, where you have the greatest assurance that the unit will be used the most often, most often.
I love this idea. I think it'd be great. I'm glad you called me chairman of the
How about upcycle? That's the one.
as we go forward on this, is there an opportunity, we're at like this Saturday, I think we had it mentioned, to say to the tech community, which goes through computers a lot faster than we do, hey, this is a great place for you to donate. I mean, I imagine, Google, for instance, and them, it's probably go through computers on a regular basis because they're always using digital technology, whereas, with public organizations, some of the is there a way to be able to do that as we move forward?
Councilmember, we have, I think you hit it spot on. We are looking at a big vision here, and in the future, as we move forward through the pilot process, we see opportunities. We've been in discussion with the mayor's office and Council President Wesson's office and sanitation about even a wider vision that would allow us to take computers that are donated from both the private sector and even the community and look at leveraging those for a refurbished program. So that's one of the things that we're going to look at as we go further with the pilot program to see what additional opportunities there are.
Part of the challenge, if I could add too, is I bet everyone in this room, not just Google, but everyone in this room has got at least a laptop or cell phone or some litany of electronics sitting in their house or in the garage or something or whatever. Figuring out how to get. Right now we do a pretty good job in the safe sector. That's pretty limited in scope. So figuring out how to get all that, ranging from Google to each of us individually, through some sort of clearinghouse, whether that's public to private or public-private partnership. Now, shared city
if necessary, for the implementation of the performance budgeting application. And this is the new system that's going to replace the CAO's existing aging brass budgeting system. The first contract amendment is to the city's software license agreement with CGI, which will add performance budgeting and procurement to the list of software licenses that are owned by the city at no cost. So it's a no-cost agreement. And the second contract amendment is to the city's existing software maintenance agreement, which will add 2 years of software maintenance to the performance budgeting application at a cost of about $112,000 a year.
When I hear this, I was going to be able to comment on council. But I was personally opposed to budget because of the state. I got a lot of pushback about how much it would cost to build a support system in the county and state government. It's not so easy to pull in metrics. It's a long time. This project, in the scheme of things, is relatively modest, and then to be able to pull in performance metrics to get here to talk about what the cost of implications are
Well, these are actually 2 contract amendments that are necessary. There was an additional third contract that's previously been approved for the project. So if you actually look at page 3, I believe it is, of the joint CAO and ITA report, it lists the total project budget. And I just wanted to demonstrate that because the total project budget is actually $3.7 million. So that does incorporate a much broader scope. And that scope does include both the existing replacement of the CO's budgeting system, so everything from how we budget dollars and positions, but also incorporated that into the performance management functionality, which would include having metrics within the system, having a performance hierarchy in the system, so you can say how those metrics are sort of assigned to citywide goals, and then how those citywide goals sort of help guide the decision making on the budget process, if you will, and allocating those performance items to subsets of the city's organization. So, a portion of GSD is performing this particular item, which has this metric, which has this sort of performance goal associated with it, which comes up to a broader scope of, what as a city are our goals and our sort of performance strategic items that we want to support.
flexible enough, it's easy to think about when it's well-made, sort of quantitative metrics, but as we start putting in more of the soft metrics, it will help because you're confident that this system as being redeveloped will be able to accommodate that with softer metrics.
that's one of the things that I'm personally excited for as the budget analyst in the CAO's office, is of being able to use the system in a way that actually can print all the reports and all the materials that we need.
Item number 4 is a motion by Council Members Paris and Dinesville relative to the surplus property process to declare the property located at 8707 South Menlo Avenue a surplus property. We have one speaker present.
Hey, good afternoon. This is the Housing Committee, special meeting, May 27th, 2014. We have some confirmations. I note that Councilmember Fuentes and Councilmember Price are with us. Mr. Price has stepped out for a brief second. And so let's go forward with item 1. We have the appointment of Mr. Ben Pack to the Affordable Housing Commission for a term ending June 30th, 2015. Mr. Pack, how are you?
Very well, sir. Thank you.
Tell us about your thoughts on the state of affordable housing and what are your recommendations? What do you think about SB 391 and AB 22222? You're going to read that.
I'll make sure I read it into the record, Mr. Councilmember. Okay, item number 1 is, yes, the communication from
Legislative bad habits.
communication from Mayor relative to the appointment of Mr. Ben Pack to the Affordable Housing Commission for the term ending June 30th, 2015.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Well, I have not prepped well to answer that question.
Okay.
I think once I
We
get...
appreciate your candor.
I think if I get confirmed, I'll probably be better prepared to answer. And once I get acclimated, I'm pretty sure I will be more than able to come back and then answer those questions for you.
Okay. Mr. Fuentes?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Well, we have tremendous deference for the mayor, and we look forward to working with you in this area. And we appreciate your candor, and so I guess that's all we have to say at the moment.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Motion to move.
So moved.
Okay. With all deference to the mayor.
I don't know about that.
Okay, and we have 2 other appointments. Ms. Lenora Gershman-Pitts from CD14 and Ms. Carol Brogdon. And they are being appointed to the Rent Adjustment Commission. Am I taking your...
Yes,
Go ahead.
communication from the Mayor relative to the appointment of Ms. Leonard Gershman-Pitts to the Rent Adjustment Commission for the term ending May 20th, 2018. The third item is communication from the Mayor relative to the appointment of Mr. Jose Oliva to the Rent Adjustment Commission for the term ending May 20th, 2018. And the fourth item, communication from the Mayor relative to the appointment of Ms. Carol Brogdon to the Rent Adjustment Commission for the term ending May 20th, 2018.
Okay. Let's hear from you.
Excuse me?
Let's hear from you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Leonora Gershman-Pitts, and I live in Eagle Rock, and I'm honored to be here today.
Thank you.
I'm Carol Brogdon, and I am a lifelong Angelino, and I'm very pleased to come before you all today, and I am very honored to be up for this commissionship. I grew up in the city with my father, who taught me the importance of civic engagement. He was an assessor his whole career. He was an appraiser for the assessor's office, and from my father, I learned the great importance of housing issues in the city. So I'm particularly excited to work on the Rent Adjustment Commission because I think safe and affordable housing is so important for the city.
Awesome. That's really, really helpful. So what are your thoughts? What experiences do you have that would help you advocate for tenants' rights?
Well, my experience, I was the program director for Los Angeles Child Care and Development Council, and that's a large state-funded agency. And we designed, in conjunction sometimes with low and middle-income housing, we designed child care programs right in the apartment buildings. And so I was able to see up close how when families had a safe, stable housing situation, how the children and then the families were so positively impacted. And I was very proud of our programs. And most of them are still running throughout Los Angeles.
Great. Tell us about the moms.
The moms. Well, I am the co-founder of the Atwater Village Moms Group, and we are almost 500 members. We are an advocacy group. We take care of each other. We look out for each other, and it's one of my greatest accomplishments, I think, in the world. This past Christmas, one of my moms reached out to me and said, "My kids, we're not going to have Christmas this year. Is there anything that you can do?" So I said to the group, one of the moms needs a little help. And so we got her a Christmas tree, and we got her all these Target gift cards, and she was able to have this beautiful Christmas, and I wished that I could share all the photos that she sent me with the rest of the moms, but of course I couldn't. But when I saw the state of where she was living in Atwater Village, in North Atwater Village, it astounded me. And when I saw these two little children that she had living in this situation, my heart just shattered. And I want to make sure that we're giving people the opportunity to live with decency and affordability.
Oh, that's awesome. Great statement. Mr. Fuentes? Mr. Price?
No, thank you.
Okay, with that, let's move the confirmation of the two appointees.
Second.
Second. Okay, before that, let's hear public comment. Mr. Millman?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I had a comment on this group, then I had one on public comment, but on this particular group, my comments are I pay the highest deference to not only the mayor, but the mayor's excellent staff in making selections. What always disappoints me, Mr. Chair, is the RAC is the judicial arm of the REAP program. In order to be effective, you have to have a working knowledge of due process, evidence. You're called upon in a quasi-judicial way to adjudicate what happened at the lower level. And that's what you really need to be an effective person on RAC. What disappoints me is nobody from the apartment community was ever solicited by the mayor's office or by this committee or by others to sit with these candidates over a beverage and talk to them about their sense of fair play and appropriate housing situations. Not everybody in REAP belongs there, and this is the last step of justice at this RAC hearing to adjudicate fairness, and you need to really be sensitive to that commitment. Otherwise, those housing providers will slide into REAP, they lose their homes, they lose all their money, they go into foreclosure, their tenants are on the street. It is the most drastic program in the United States of America, so we wanted to participate in this selection.
You know, we hear that every council, the consequences of that. But it seems to me that it appears that this entity is designed as an advocacy group for tenants. Now, the nominees before us seem well-educated, seem civically engaged. Those elements that you suggested are things that can be easily learned. So I don't think that we don't need attorneys, and we don't necessarily need landlords. I might or might not appoint them, but it's like a labor commission. When you go before an entity that's designed for labor rights, you don't necessarily have the employer there. You might want to, but it's really designed as an advocacy group because the thought is that the structural advantage, right, the fundamental structural advantage lies in the landlord. Now, you've brought to our attention a lot of incredible, very important, significant issues that we work to resolve. But in this particular entity, it appears that its very nature is designed as a tenant advocacy group, and therefore it seems that these nominees would be wholly appropriate, and that while we've heard your concerns, I think they're wholly appropriate to move forward.
I join in recommending them for whatever position they have, because I think they have a big heart, and they have the temperament and the sensibility and the compassion, wherein I feel they'll be fair to all parties. And I join. I think they're outstanding candidates. I only bring my comments to the process, but not to these particular people who I find to be exceptionally well qualified.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Nope.
So moved. So moved, Mr. Chairman. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's an honor, sir.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I did put in a public comment
Yes.
card.
And for clarification, that was approval on the Commissioner items 2, 3, and 4.
Correct.
Is that correct? Thank you. And I believe for reconsideration, item number 1 with all 3 members?
Yes, please. That was,
That was on Mr. Ben Pak for
yes.
the
Mr.
appointment to
Black.
the Affordable Housing Commission.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, finally, we are at item number 5.
Motion Weston Cedillo relative to transferring $9,192,000 and 505 in capital improvement expenditure program funds from various capital improvement projects to community-based development organization programs that did not receive community development block grant funding in the recently adopted 40th program year, 2014-15 consolidated plan budget. This item is also referred to the Budget and Finance Committee.
Members, this is a result of the actions and discussions we took previously to save a whole range of programs. There's no public comment, and there is simply an amendment from the President to add $150,000 from the Vision Theater Project Capital Improvement Expenditure Program 1314 account 100/54 to the Economic Workforce Development Department for the Armenian Relief Society to be replaced with future MICLA funds. And instruct EWDD to amend the contract with the Armenian Relief Society to reflect the new funding and prepare control instructions as needed and make necessary technical changes to reflect this action.
I'll second the motion, or I'll make the motion, rather.
Okay. Moved as amended.
As amended. Second.
Second. Action, so be it. All matters are done before us. General public comment? Mr. Millman?
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. I know this is a special meeting.
Yes.
Giving me a generous sort of a
Graciousness of the committee.
gracious Christmas gift come early. So I'm going to be very, very brief. I'm going to hand these out for some souvenirs for the group. If I can just hand them to the clerk. To make a long story short, I congratulate the committee. It's been a long time coming over the last 6 or 7 years. We got elected in March, we had a runoff in May, we took office, and a hard-fought campaign in July. Some small apartment owners would just like an opportunity to pick out some items from this wish list to put on your agenda at one time and have a hearing up or down as to the merits of some of these items. Clearly, if you poll 60,000 landlords in your city, they'll all complain that when they go through the inspections, there are numerous problems with the units, all of which are caused by the tenants, and yet the tenants never get cited. And LAHD will not come before you under oath and tell you why they won't do it. I think it should be on the agenda. Councilperson Wesson told me, Mr. Millman, give me a grace period on when you pay your fees so it's not a $300 penalty. Give me a 60-day grace period. And finally, Mr. Cervantes and I met with the Agla people, and he agreed that we could have a little sign up in in his office. And later he said, "Oh, I forgot. I have a memory problem. I don't remember that. Now I've decided not to." So there's the signage. Every tenant right group has a sign in their office. We just wanted to have an equal sign. So what I'm saying in closing, let's have a committee meeting. Let's put some items on an agenda. Let's take a vote up or down, one way or another. If they have no merit, we lose. If they have some merit, we put them in the RSO. There is no oversight over LAHB other than this people on this committee, and I'm asking for leadership and oversight. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes. All right, that concludes all matters before us. And this meeting is now adjourned.